Hi friends, Mickey Mankis here and welcome to Out the Back Door. Holiday season is right around the corner, literally, and what kind of a dessert does everybody want? Pumpkin. And I'm thinking, all right, I always make pumpkin pie, pumpkin bars, that type of thing, but I wanted something different. And I noticed it's kind of a new fad, but pumpkin cheesecake. So that's what I'm gonna make. I've never done this before, and I looked up a lot of different recipes, but I did find one that really sounded appealing to me, and that's what I want to share with you today. First thing we want to do is we're going to get going on the crust because it needs to get into the oven. I've got my food processor out here, and we're going to put 12 graham crackers, whole graham crackers in there. And why they put an odd number like 9, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to break them in half. This is supposed to give you like 1.5 cups of graham cracker. Okay, and I'm just gonna pulse these to begin with. Okay, and we're gonna add sugar to it. I've got 1 tablespoon of sugar. Just gonna put that in. And I'll mix it in. Okay, I also have 6 tablespoons of butter. So this is like 3/4 of a stick. And I'm gonna pour that in while I have it on run. Just pulse it until it's well incorporated. Okay, that's good. So we want a standard size springform pan with at least a 3-inch rise on it. And we're gonna dump our crust into there. Get all of that out there. I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. Okay, I'm just gonna mash it down with a spoon. And I'm gonna kind of bring up onto the sides about a 1-inch crust going up. See, when I make cheesecake, I like to make a New York style cheesecake with the sour cream in it. And that's what this recipe is including. That's why I decided I was gonna try this. We're only gonna bake this for 8 minutes. Okay, now while that's baking, we're gonna get going on our filling. And we're gonna start with 3 of the 8-ounce packages of cream cheese that are softened. Sorry, for some reason the camera dropped. As I was saying, I have 3 blocks of 8-ounce cream cheese in my bowl here, and I've added 1.5 cups of brown sugar to it, and I'm gonna mix this up. All right, so the cream cheese and the brown sugar is all mixed up, and we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna start mixing the rest of the things in a separate bowl. And we've got a 15-ounce can of pumpkin. I'm gonna put in 1/4 cup of sour cream. Okay, I also have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Put the good stuff in. I have 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. And I'm gonna mix all this together. Okay, now that that's mixed up really well, I'm going to add the eggs. And we need 4 large eggs. At this point, it looks like we have a pumpkin pie filling, but now we will mix both the cream cheese with the sugar in with our fillings that we've just done. This is why I didn't bother washing the beaters in between. Okay, and we're gonna mix that. Don't overly mix it though. It's almost like we're folding it in. Okay. Okay, our crust browned while it was baking, and now we're gonna put our filling in. All right, our oven is still at 350 degrees, and I'm gonna put this in. We're gonna bake it for 1 hour. Okay, make sure that you put it on the middle rack. And once the timer's done, then we'll go to the next step. All right, the cheesecake baked for 1 hour, and what I'm doing now, I stuck a wooden spoon in the door to hold it cracked open a bit. The cheesecake is still in there, and it's going to be in there for another 45 minutes. Once the 45 minutes is up, then I'll take it out and I'll put it on a cooling rack. I'll let it cool off to room temperature. And once it hits room temperature, then I'll put some plastic wrap over the top and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. It's recommended that you refrigerate it for at least a minimum of 4 hours. I'm going to leave it in there overnight. So tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to show you what the cheesecake looks like. I'm also going to make a wonderful caramel sauce to put on top of it. So I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Okay, we're going to work on the caramel sauce now. And the first thing we want to do is we're going to melt our butter. We've got 4 tablespoons of butter, a half a stick. And I'm going to get that in the pan, get it going. The other things you're going to need is 1 cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of salt. Yeah, you need that salt. It just gives an excellent flavor. And a half a cup of half and half. If you have whole whipping cream, you can mix equal parts of that with milk in order to substitute the half and half if you'd like. So this caramel sauce isn't really going to take very long to make. Once the butter is melted, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients, and we're going to kind of bring it up to a boil. We're going to be stirring it consistently, and it's probably going to take, anywhere from 6 to 9 minutes to thicken up. Just remember that once it starts cooling down, it's going to thicken even more. And this is what we're going to drizzle over that cheesecake. So Mr. Mankus was really waiting to dig in and try out the cheesecake, and I said, but I was going to make a caramel sauce to go over it. And he's like, okay, I'll wait. All right. That's melted. I'm going to put our sugar in there. I'm also going to get the half and half dumped in there right away. And get this mixed up. All right, and now that it's all melted together really well, I'm going to add the salt. All right, and like I said, about 6 to 9 minutes, consistently stirring it so that it doesn't burn or scorch. Okay, once everything came up to a boil, I did turn down the heat. We're going to simmer it for that 6 to 9 minutes. This recipe came from the Pioneer Woman, And Natasha's Kitchen is the one that had the pumpkin cheesecake recipe. That's where I had found that from. You know, if you want to make extra caramel sauce, you can actually can this. Once it's done thickening up, pour it into like the 4-ounce canning jars and water bath can them for like 10 minutes. And that way you've got caramel sauce whenever you want. Just go grab it out of the pantry. This looks pretty thick, and I'm almost at the 9-minute mark. So we'll finish this up, and then I'll get it on the table, and we'll start working on the cheesecake. All right, we have got some really deep cracks in our cheesecake. The reason we were letting it cool down really slowly is so that it wouldn't do that, but even when our time was up after an hour of the first baking, I noticed that there was cracks in it, but that's okay. So first thing we want to do is we're going to take like a butter knife. You want a blunt knife, and we're going to go around the edges just to loosen it up. All right, now we'll release the spring. Lift that off. All right, it looks pretty good. Okay. Now we're going to cut a piece. I figure a cheesecake this size, we should get 12 slices out of it easily. My husband may say different. He'd say he's eating half of it, but let's cut into it and see what it's like. Very dense. Like I said, this is the first time with this recipe. All right, get together there. And now we're going to drizzle some of our caramel sauce on it. Oh, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to try this. The caramel really set up quickly. All right, ready? I need one more bite to make sure. This is a definite keeper recipe. I will be marking this excellent. I really, really do enjoy this. The cheesecake itself is nice and dense, like a true New York cheesecake. The caramel sauce is really good. I'm sure you could put whipped cream on it too, but to me the caramel sauce is enough. Yeah, the pumpkin flavor and the spices are there, but it's not overwhelming. It's not quite as strong as like a pumpkin pie would be. But it's really good. Oh, I may need to eat my dessert before I have my supper tonight. I hope you give this a try because it wasn't that hard to make and it is very good. So if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. So until next time, stay safe and God bless.